Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we are unpacking something that is literally reshaping the very foundations of the housing market. We hear a lot about green homes and sustainable building. We're talking solar panels, smart thermostats, high-tech insulation, the whole shebang. But behind those eco-friendly features lies a high-stakes world of corporate strategy, immense financial risk, and intense market competition. So let's dive right into this. Today, we're looking directly at the reporting standards that home builders use to communicate their sustainable efforts, and honestly, more importantly, their financial viability to major investors. It's this fascinating balancing act between resource efficiency and, well, making a profit. And let me tell you, the rules of the game are way stricter than you might think. To really understand how builders navigate this, we have to look at the rulebook they use. We're talking about the SASB standards, which are now part of the IFRS Foundation. Now, this isn't just some casual set of guidelines. This is the absolute benchmark for sustainability accounting across the globe. Specifically, we're going to unpack the SASB Sustainability Accounting Standard for the home builders industry, focusing deeply on how they report on resource efficiency. Investors use these incredibly precise standards to figure out if a home builder is making smart, future-proof decisions, or if they're just throwing money down the drain on green technology that no one actually wants to buy. All right, let's get into Section 1, the Green Building Dilemma, a high-stakes financial gamble. When a builder decides to use sustainable practices and advanced materials to improve energy and water efficiency, they aren't just making a nice environmental choice. They are making a massive financial calculation that fundamentally alters their cost structure and their entire risk profile, which leads us to the million-dollar question, and I mean that sometimes literally. Does building green actually guarantee a profit? Just imagine a builder sinking tens of millions of dollars into developing a community of hyper-efficient homes with top-tier water fixtures and advanced heating and cooling systems. What happens if the prospective homebuyers simply don't care? Or what if they aren't willing to pay the premium for those features? Well, the SASB standards actually force builders to answer this exact question in their public disclosures. They literally have to explain how they're managing the very real possibility that their green investments might just fail to pay off. Moving on to Section 2. Risks of tech investments. What could go wrong? So the SASB standard basically demands that builders pull back the curtain and show investors exactly what keeps them up at night when it comes to sustainable technology investments. They have to detail 4 primary financial risks. Number 1, and this is a big one, failing to achieve adequate returns on investment. If the tech costs more than the value it actually adds to the home, well, that's a huge problem. Number 2, insufficient market demand. You can build the greenest home on planet Earth, but if your target market doesn't value sustainability, it's just not going to sell. Number 3 is super fascinating to me. It's the risk of lagging behind peers. If a builder fails to advance their design approach at the exact same pace as their competitors, they end up producing less sustainable homes and risk losing major market share. And finally, number 4, the high costs associated with cost-effectively building homes that actually meet constantly evolving, stricter building codes. Builders must have a clear strategy to disclose and manage all of these risks. Let's shift gears to Section 3, seizing market opportunities, the upside of efficiency. Now, it's not all doom and gloom here. Where there is massive risk, there is also the potential for massive reward. Once builders disclose their risks, the framework requires them to pivot and describe the opportunities. Home builders face this really fascinating duality every single day. On one side, you've got the severe risk of reduced demand for inefficient homes if they fall behind the market curve. But on the flip side, there are massive opportunities, right? We're talking achieving sales price premiums, capturing target market demand, and creating a formidable competitive advantage. If a builder can actually produce homes with market-leading energy and water efficiency, and, this is key, successfully market them, they aren't just saving resources. They are commanding higher prices and totally dominating their market segment. Which brings us to Section 4. Measuring true savings, proving the performance. Now, here is the catch. You can't just slap a green label on a house and charge a massive premium. Investors and ultimately the homebuyers themselves demand receipts. You absolutely have to prove it. The framework lays out a clear 3-step strategy that builders must report on to justify these investments. Step 1, conduct performance audits. Builders must measure homeowner benefits directly. Step 2, earn certifications. This means adhering to industry standards and guidelines that provide third-party validation of the home's efficiency. And Step 3, compare to a baseline. The builder actually has to calculate the projected energy and water costs and savings relative to a standard baseline home. This three-step measurement strategy is exactly what gives the builder the hard, undeniable data they need to prove their resource efficiency to the market. Let's dive into Section 5, Communicating Benefits to Buyers, Bridging the Gap. So having the data is one thing, but translating that data into actual sales is the real hurdle. Builders have to outline their strategy for taking all those audits and baseline comparisons and making them digestible and honestly compelling to the consumer. The ultimate goal here, as explicitly stated in the standard, is proving projected energy and water costs and savings to the buyer. The disclosure has to cover how the builder communicates the benefits of their resource efficiency performance and those certifications we talked about. But more importantly, it requires builders to explain how they integrate this resource efficiency data directly into their sales and marketing efforts. Because think about it, if the marketing team can't use the sustainability data to close a sale, the entire investment cycle just completely breaks down. Think about what this actually looks like in practice. When a buyer walks into a model home today, they aren't just looking at the nice countertops anymore. They are looking at projected savings. And what is that? It's the estimated reduction in future utility bills calculated against a baseline standard. By successfully educating customers on the long-term benefits of these homes, literally showing them the actual tangible dollars they are going to save on their heating, cooling, and water bills month after month, builders can significantly increase their target market demand. This right here is exactly how a builder turns an environmental feature into a cold, hard financial selling point. And finally, Section 6, the bottom line, risk, reward, and the future. So as we pull back and look at the big picture, what's the real bottom line here? This SASB sustainability reporting standard isn't just some boring box-checking exercise for environmental compliance. It is a comprehensive roadmap for financial survival in the modern home building industry. It forces companies to critically analyze their risk, validate their rewards through really rigorous measurement, and strategically communicate their value proposition to the market. And to really hammer this home for investors, the standard offers an optional but highly revealing piece of analysis. Builders can choose to include their target return rates compared to the realized return rates of these green improvements. This is like the ultimate moment of truth. A builder can say, hey, we invested X million dollars aiming for a 15% return on our energy-efficient designs, and here's what we actually realized. It's the definitive proof of whether their strategy to balance the green building dilemma is actually working out there in the real world. It's just a fascinating look at the hidden gears of the housing industry, isn't it? The next time you see a new development boasting about its eco-friendly design, you are going to know exactly the kind of intense financial calculations, risk assessments, and highly targeted marketing strategies that went into it behind the scenes. Which leaves me with a question for you to ponder. Knowing that builders are rigorously tracking and projecting these utility savings to justify their pricing, how will these sustainability disclosures change the way you evaluate your next home purchase? Will you be asking for the baseline performance audits? It is definitely something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you next time.